As we continue our journey through the month of Elul, we continue with Alden Solovy's book, Enter These Gates, Meditations for the Days of Awe. And the reading today is a reading I really like, except for the very last part. And we'll discuss that, I'll share that. It's called My Repentance. What is my repentance and what is my return? My repentance is for moments wasted. My return is to you. My repentance is for forgotten love. My return is to life. My repentance is for abandoning mitzvot. My return is to Torah. What is my repentance and what is my return? My repentance is for mistakes, oversights, and failures past. My return is to prayer, righteousness, and tikkun olam. So Alden Solovy here is picking up on the theme of teshuvah, of return. The idea of the month of Elul is we're returning to the best relationships that we can have with ourselves, with each other, and with God. This clause, my repentance is for moments wasted. My return is to you. That's really interesting, I think. The idea of atoning for things that we didn't do, that we could have done, for wasting time. And there's got to be a real balance here, and I'm pretty sure that Alden knows this. There's got to be a balance between spending our lives in task, in sacred task, in responsibility, in making the world a better place, in connecting to God, connecting to other people, in performing mitzvot, and also sometimes taking time out to recharge our batteries. And I don't think that's time wasted. I don't think it's moments wasted. I actually think there is value in sometimes just shutting everything down. So just turning the brain off for a little while, to rest. And the rabbis say, yeah, you do that while you sleep. And you study long into the night, and then you sleep as little as you can, minimize sleep, and keep going. But that's not always very healthy, actually. Sometimes we need to pause. And so I think for me, when I read my repentance is for moments wasted, my return is to you, I read that as moments where I know I felt a call but chose not to follow that call. But even then, sometimes we say, somebody is calling for help and say, I really can't right now. I'm really sorry. I'm busy helping someone else, or I'm doing something. And so we have to find a balance. And I think that's the essence of my return is to you. My return is to you, God, in the sense of trying to work out, what do you need from me now? Do you need me to engage in sacred task, or do you need me to just chill out and recharge the batteries? The second clause, my repentance is for forgotten love. My return is to life. I really like this. We forget very quickly how much we love the people in our lives and how much they love us. We take it for granted. One of the saddest things I think I probably ever heard is the idea that children often don't tell parents how much they love them until the eulogy over the grave, when the parent can't even hear it anymore. And I think it's really important for us to not forget how much we love each other, and therefore how much we need to express that love to each other. And so I think during the month of Elul, it's not just about atoning, but it's returning to the right relationship, which means expressing love. And so perhaps that's an important part of our preparation for Rosh Hashanah, is to see who we love and remind them, and also to remind ourselves of how many people love us. My repentance is for abandoning mitzvot. My return is to Torah. It sounds very frum. I don't think that's a bad thing. For me, in Reform Judaism, we try to inspire people to engage in as many mitzvot as possible. And for me, when I read this as perhaps the early reformers who said, we don't do this anymore, it's all antiquated, it's all irrelevant, it's all ancient. And that was actually deeply problematic, especially as decades went by, because then there wasn't so much that was authentically Jewish to go by. And so for me, the issue is that we shouldn't abandon mitzvot, we should thoughtfully engage in mitzvot, and that's where we should return to Torah. we should be able to open up Chumash, we should be able to open up Tanakh and say, how does this apply to me, instead of, why do I not do this? And so I think it's very tempting for many people to just abandon, to say, I'm not doing this anymore, as opposed to trying to find new meaning in it. Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi, for example, took the laws of kashrut and said, for some people this is still very relevant, for others it's a bit challenging. So let's look at perhaps something more similar to what he called eco-kashrut, which is in what way is this godly food? And so not just how the animal was killed, but how was it raised? Was it injected with hormones? If there's food that may have totally kosher ingredients, but is wrapped in plastic and served on a plastic plate and so on, is that really eco-kosher? And the idea is that instead of just abandoning mitzvot and saying, I'm not doing that anymore, reinterpreting them, reforming them. What is my repentance and what is my return? My repentance is for mistakes, oversights and failures past, the deliberate and the accidental. But then he says, my return is to prayer, righteousness and tikkun olam. And that's why I go, I don't know how I feel about this. Because in Unatane Tokef, we have this phrase which is a really important prayer for Rosh Hashanah, u'teshuva, u'tefila, u'tzedakah, that repentance, prayer, and good deeds avert the evil decree. And tomorrow's Torah study is exactly about that. How do these things avert the evil decree? Is it indulgences or is it something else? I'm challenged, and I guess those who know me know I bristle at the phrase tikkun olam. And I bristle at it because it's a very secular term. It took a very specific term from Talmud and from Aleinu, and it turned it into something very universal, just helping make the world a better place. And as I mentioned in my Erev Rosh Hashanah sermon, the problem with a movement that's so strongly based on tikkun olam, on secular social justice, is there's nothing specifically unique about it other than the name. I kind of personally, I would have hoped here, my return is to Teshuvah, Tefillah, Tzedakah, to these three things. But I understand, this is his poem, he's entitled to write what he likes. His return is to prayer, righteousness, and tikkun olam. Prayer is that reflection, lehitpalel, to judge oneself, to reflect on our own deeds. That's what we do during the month of Elul. Righteousness is good intention, and then tikkun olam is putting it into practice. So I do understand why he's written it like this. And I do think it's a very nice model to reflect, to direct, and then to act. I do like that. It's just personally, the phrase tikkun olam sometimes makes me bristle because of how it's been abused and misused by so many people. But I think ultimately, I think this is a wonderful poem because it reminds us of the simple things. Our repentance is for moments wasted. And so when we reflect on that, we're reflecting on, how do I use my time best? If I believe that my life is a gift from God, how do I use that gift best? My repentance is for forgotten love from each other and also from and for God, which I didn't mention before. How does God love us and how do we express love of God? And my repentance is for abandoning mitzvot, of letting things go aside instead of bringing new energy, new life to our tradition. I hope that you'll be able to join us for this evening's service, our Kabbalat Shabbat service. We continue with Yigdal, with the High Holy Day tune, and we're really getting ourselves into the mood for the High Holy Days. Tomorrow, as I said, we have Torah study, Teshuvah, Tefillah, Tzedakah. What do these three things actually mean, and how do they avert the evil decree? Tomorrow night, very exciting, is Selichot. Selichot are prayers of penitential prayers, prayers where we really get into the mood for Rosh Hashanah. And Selichot is on the Saturday evening before Rosh Hashanah, except when it's not, because of the day of the week of Rosh Hashanah. And so our Selichot service is this coming Saturday. And as we have done for the last few years, we are showing a movie first. And this is a movie I haven't seen in a long time, and I love this movie. It's called Stranger Than Fiction, starring Will Ferrell. And what's lovely about it is he is a person who discovers that he's being written into someone's book. She is narrating his life, and he starts hearing her narrate his life. And the big challenge is that she, this famous author played by Emma Thompson, always kills off her characters. And so he has to wrestle with, does he have free will? What does it mean to have a decree looming over him? Can he change that decree? You probably get the sense now of why I think this is a great movie for the month of Elul. It's funny, it's moving, it's a lovely movie. Join us tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock for the movie. Then we have Havdalah, and then we have our Salichot service, where we take out all the Torah scrolls, we change the mantles to white. We really get ourselves prepared for Rosh Hashanah. Before I go, something I didn't do last time is the blowing of the shofar. The blessing for the blowing of the shofar is Lishmoa Kol Shofar, thanking God who commands us to hear the voice of the shofar. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kedishanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Lishmoa Kol Shofar. See you this evening, tomorrow morning for our Torah study and for our Shabbat Shacharit service, and also for our Salichot service. I wish you Shabbat Shalom.